Thank you.
You blur this.
Cock and balls. Okay, so next we're doing our honorable mentions for our top 10. For my third honorable mention, I have I Like Movies. With a movie with one of the most unlikable characters of the year, I hated this little bastard, this fat little bastard.
He really sounds like you.
It's a very underrated movie. Not a lot of people have really seen it. Very Canadian. It's a Canadian movie. It's very homey in a weird way. For my second, I have Anatomy of a Fall. It's shot beautifully. There's not a lot to the script that's surprising or new, but it takes that courtroom drama aspect and does it really well. The child performance is the standout for me here. He did fucking incredible.
Also, the dog's weirdly good.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering what all the hype is about the dog, and then that scene happens. I was like,
yeah.
bro, what the fuck?
I have no idea how they could have done that.
My first pick is Poor Thing. It's an incredibly, beautiful world. It's really amazing. I'm sure it would be on one of your guys' top 10s had any of you seen it.
My third honorable mention is Anatomy of a Fall. I'm kind of shaky on the actual cinematography, but the color correction is beautiful. Whoever did color correction popped the fuck off. Scrapper, it's amazing. My number 11 was Beau's Afraid. I completely understand people that hate it or middle of the road on it. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. It landed all the marks for me. Really creative and awesome.
I went for some classic Jared picks. One, I'm going to go with The Haunting in Venice. The third, Hercule Poirot movie. I am his fan. If I'm dead, then they have no fans. I will always be there. I wasn't this year. I watched it on Disney Plus recently, but I should have gone to theaters for it. They're just fun. I don't know. I love this new wave of modern whodunits. I think both of the other two, Murder on the Orient Express and Death and Nile, were better. But it's just fun. Awesome to watch this whole mystery unfold and then be totally thrown off by the end. Second honorable mention. None of you are going to mention this, but I'm gonna. Super Mario Bros. Fun as hell. Good animation. Illumination is a good studio. We're not fighting about that.
I loved that movie for 2 weeks.
Easy go.
Yeah.
So we're going to go one by one. At my number 10, I have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Great animation, good story. I love it. Number 10.
10 is Priscilla. Aesthetically, perfect. With an incredible soundtrack. You're really, suffocated in this blanket of vapid riches. The makeup team in this movie fucking went so crazy. They very convincingly make Kaylee Spaney, however you say her name, convincingly young when she's supposed to be 14. And very convincingly older when she's supposed to be 30. I almost thought they switched actors, but there was no way they could have.
Elvis was top 1 of 2022. There's no way that movie's better than Elvis.
My number 10 is Blackberry. I love Blackberry. Matt Johnson, Canadian guy. Watching his evolution has been very inspiring for me. Dirties, and now he's making movies with Jay Baruchel about a smartphone company. It's pretty awesome, and he keeping the same style. It's really cool. Razor sharp writing and some amazingly entertaining performances. Glenn Howerton is so fun to watch.
I'm excited for the TV miniseries version.
Before we get into Jared's, I want to say that Jared has the worst list.
Okay, boys. One of you dissed it earlier. It's the creator. Listen. There's always room for original sci-fi. And this is a really fresh, new idea.
I'm sorry. Not one thing is fresh or new about the narrative.
Listen.
This is that's like calling The Last of Us fresh and new. The Last of Us is good, but it is not fresh and new.
I thought this was my turn. You said, Logan, this movie has one of the best looks of the year. And I totally agree. Gareth Edwards popped off. And your only dispute with it, Logan, was that you didn't like the story.
It's so forgettably bland.
I disagree. And I don't know. I really enjoy it.
For my number 9, I have Napoleon. Not surprising to me at all. Napoleon is one of my favorite historical figures. He's such an interesting guy. This movie was awesome. The action sequences were sick. That whole relationship was awesome to see. Joaquin killed it. There's a couple battle sequences in this movie that are some of my favorite ever.
For my number 9, I have surprising thing for me. John Wick Chapter 4.
Holy shit.
I fucking love this movie. Neon-drenched gun fu mastery, dude. Onslaught of ultra-violent comedic absurdity. And it knows exactly what it is, and it plays to it, like, perfectly. Shout out to Donnie Yen's blind swordsman character. One of my favorite characters this year, I think. He's just so fun to watch.
My number 9 is Rye Lane. Energetic, fun, little British movie. You know, pretty average indie plot, and makes it the most stylish movie ever. And it's awesome. And like the soundtrack is super funky and epic, and you got characters like spitfiring little quips to each other. It's awesome. I can't wait to see what the director does next.
My number 9 is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
How does a movie like that even hit top 20?
Do you think this movie would have been better if it were 2 films?
I'm so much a fan of just one movie prequels.
My problem with it is it tries to cram so much. And the
You
second
watched it?
act, the last hour-ish or so, it's not quite enough for 2 full movies, but it's...
I don't know. I thought the pacing was fine. That epilogue it's pretty good. It sets up Donald Sutherland's character really well. As a whole, it added a whole new layer to the Hunger Games franchise. That you can go back to the older movies and think, wow, it adds more to the franchise, and I like that. Also, I'll take this as my platform and my time to defend sweet little Rachel Ziegler. She keeps shitting on Snow White, and everyone's like, she has no respect for the older movie. Who cares?
Let's deplatform her.
No, she's great. Call me.
Oh my god,
Fuck's
Jared.
sake. For my number 8, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is where the MCU finally dies. Not only is it a good superhero movie, it's genuinely just a fantastic movie. It was the first superhero movie since Logan to make me cry. And it's all because of that little fucking raccoon bastard.
Please! Let Bradley Cooper win an Oscar for this movie instead of Maestro. That would be so funny.
James Gunn is the greatest superhero filmmaker ever.
Godzilla -1. It comes out as like one of the finest, I think, anti-war epics to have come out in a long time. And it's all using Godzilla. It's a beautiful film. I don't know how they made this movie on apparently the tiny ass budget they did. I think the answer is that Japan probably pays VFX artists even less. So that's really cool. Go
Hell
Japan.
yeah. My number 8 is Braden's favorite movie of the year, Barbie. Fun. Pink. Lots of pink.
Pink
I've
like y'all
heard
pussy.
my favorite theater experience of the year. Had fun with Barbie.
My number 8 is Creed 3. Okay?
That's so bad!
No, it's not.
There's
Creed 3 was
no
great.
way Creed 3
Creed
should be top
3
10
was
at the
great.
end of
Creed
the
3
year. I don't
was
care about the Hunger Games. Creed
Creed-
3 should not be in the top 10.
Creed 3 is great. Creed 3 was Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut and the first movie without Stallone, and it still was fire. Adonis and Jonathan Majors' rivalry is very good. I would say out of the 3 Creed movies, it's not the best one, it's the least one, but it's still really fun, and it's still really intense and a good Creed movie.
Hey guys, would it be funny if Creed 3 was called Creed P?
Are you done,
Oh,
Jared? So for my number 7, arguably kind of low, I have Society of the Snow. I watched this bitch last night. The acting didn't feel like acting whatsoever. The story is unbelievably depressing. The only reason it's not higher is because the runtime, it felt a lot longer than it was. Anyways, it's still a fantastic movie. I loved it.
I gotta prep for this one. I'll be right back.
Oh, God.
So fucking unfunny.
I like this bit.
Y'all ever have Jolly Ranchers in your lean? Or is that just me?
Oh,
You don't have to tell me twice to pour up the scissor, okay?
we're making
Double Trouble coming back with a fuck me sideways. I don't understand the reference. The Iron Claw! Hotter than Zac Efron, I will say.
It is crazy they had to remove an entire brother from the film because otherwise it was too unbelievable and tragic. They managed to balance it so well. Like, it very easily could have just become misery porn, but it works. Like, it's a good movie.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
I like that.
Call me Kevin Smith and stick a toothpick on my urethra. This is a good movie. I was worried the animation would just be straight ripping off of Across the Spider-Verse, but I was happy to see that it had its own identity. One of the most fun movies of the year. Boy, oh boy, I was just pissing my pants happy the whole time. Great soundtrack and a great original score. Getting Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is insane.
Taking it back to the early months in the year. Air.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, dude. Not even close.
With Air, a story about a shoe should not be this good. It's really fun. It's got a nice flow and charm about it, and it's just a bunch of cool actors describing this really specific story about a shoe. Is really interesting, really fun. There's not much else to say other than I like it a lot.
At my number 6, I have Beau is Afraid.
If I was Beau,
Like what Ethan said, it's very understandable to why people don't like this movie. But with me, this is the first Ari Aster movie that fucking hit. Joaquin Phoenix again, my favorite actor, kills this performance. It's full of metaphors.
there's a scene that takes place in a bed in this movie that reminded me a lot of a story Braden told me about an experience he had.
What am I not understanding?
Me neither.
I'm talking about the scene where Beau has sex with a woman and then she dies on top of him.
The animation scene in that movie is some of my favorite shit all year. I don't know, the weirdness just worked for me, and the ending was fantastic.
It's on the penis monster.
Kind of looks like my member.
Yeah, my balls are the size of Beau's. My number 6 is Braden's favorite movie of the year, Barbie. Like, just hilarious. It's just an amazing film. I can understand some people say, like, it can come off a little preachy at times. It feels like it might not fully trust you as an audience member at points. But also, there's so many people who doesn't fucking get it anyway. So what does it matter? And it's, like, so obvious, but people don't get it anyway.
My number 6 is December. This movie subtly blew me away. Charles Melton, the amount of pain, dude, his performance is so heartbreaking. It trusts its audience so much. It takes so long for things to get revealed. It's somehow never frustrating, and the way the information was revealed felt very organic, and it never felt like it was manipulating you in any way. It was just fucked up.
Okay, my number 6. I have Oppenheimer. It's a really good biopic and an absolute triumph in filmmaking. Like I said in my review, if every biopic was like this, I'd shoot myself. It is so fast-paced, and it's trying to be so much more than just what was the atomic bomb and who is Robert Oppenheimer, and sometimes it just does not work for me. But some of the stuff that's filmed is fantastic.
For my number 5, I have Mr. Scorsese's brand new movie, Killers of a Flower Moon.
My little favorite little guy is Asteroid City.
How does it taste?
I think a lot of it has to do with where I was when I watched it. There was something about Jason Schwartzman's kind of uncertain character, this like super meta existentialist piece that Wes Anderson's done here, and nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Like, not one person knows what the fuck is happening in this whole movie. I think it's just that post-war nuclear dread that really got me. I mean, dude, classic country songs in a postcard town in the middle of nowhere, aliens and nukes in this fucker. Of course I'm gonna love it. Yep.
Eating with your number 5?
Bottoms.
That's
No?
crazy that it's in your top 10.
That is wild.
Not wild for Jared reasons, but
I didn't hate it. I think it was that amazing.
you're a fucking homophobic piece of shit.
Bottoms has some of the most entertaining protagonists of the year. This is one where I ranked it so high because I was just having so much fun watching it. I was just having such a good time with this movie. This director, between this and Shiva Baby, she got that like fast-paced comedy down. Yeah, you could just tell everyone involved was having such an incredible time making this movie, and I could feel that.
Something weird about this movie with all the fucking parodies, like the jocks wearing their football shit the entire runtime, it works weirdly well.
They put you in this like weird world, like almost without you noticing it, but you notice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad film at all, but I don't think it's a high enough at all to be with these movies. This is my newest add-on to this list, Past Lives.
That's
I know
a
you guys
good
like it.
first good pick.
Thanks. Past Lives is actually really good. It was a different kind of romance. I didn't go a full 10 out of 10 because it didn't really resonate with me as much as I would have liked it to, even though I did think it was incredible.
I have one of the most surprising movies of the year for me, The Iron Claw. I went into this almost completely blind. I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of these guys before, besides the fact that they existed. I was at the back of the theater in a puddle of my own tear. It was fucking ridiculous. It's the first time since Logan that I've cried in a theater. I don't have brothers. For some reason, this movie just hit me like a fucking truck. There's one scene where Zac Efron is playing with his kid outside, right? And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a little bit of dialogue there that just crushes.
It's it's like the 1-2 punch of the end. I mean,
I was already crying, but I was trying to
Yeah.
I'm in a theater,
Uh-huh.
grow the fuck up. But then those lines of dialogue come, and
Just let loose.
his performance in that scene is unbelievable. And I was fucking gone. The wrestling sequences, they feel authentic because you can tell that they're fake in a sense. You know, wrestling's not real.
What?
The movie does a phenomenal way of showing the actual fighting.
My number 4 is Past Lives.
That
It's
low?
that low.
Its core theme is just so shattering, and the performances are unbelievable.
My number 4, Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese's movie. We did a video on it.
Okay, my number 4 is Napoleon. I liked this so much more than I thought I would. It was so good. The directing was insane. Joaquin Phoenix went crazy. And the story was perfect to just understand what's going on and sort of learn some French history.
Don't watch that movie expecting to learn anything, because none of it's real. All of it is totally fake and made up.
Yeah, I loved that Josephine was a way bigger part than you'd think. The battles were sort of a side piece, but I loved that it was a side, because it was like, okay, I can have this great drama, and then I can go over to the fights and watch these incredible battle sequences that were just amazing. And I loved it a lot.
Give me the 4-hour cut now.
I'll suck so many dicks.
For my number 3, probably the most surprising, I have The Holdovers. It's such an interesting movie with how warm it feels. It still looks phenomenal. This movie is damn near perfect. But if this movie was shot on film,
What they did to emulate the film is super impressive. Like, I've never seen that done before.
The characters are all so real and perfectly acted. Divine Joy Rudolph won a Golden Globe the other day for this performance, and I fucking love it. I love her. Funny thing with Paul Giamatti, okay? Now when I think of him, I think of that eyeball. And the kid performance, I don't know if I can call it a kid performance.
Dude.
I know, he was a fucking nobody and put on one of the realest performances I've seen all year.
My number 3, it's also The Holdovers.
Oh.
Bro actually made them like they used to. Fun fact, he used the same technology that Spielberg did in Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. It's called the Time Machine. He just traveled back in time. He used a digital camera.
Down to the sound as well.
Yeah, perfectly fuzzy little movie, like teachers and like rascal students, and then the teacher warms up. But then it reveals itself to be a really awesome kind of character study, and it's beautiful.
So my number 3, it's The Holdovers. My number 3 is The Holdovers.
Okay, my number 3, Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon is just commanding. We have a whole review about it in the bottom. I just want to clear my name. I said it was boring, but it wasn't boring. After 3 hours in a theater, it sort of did a number on me. It was just hard to stay motivated. Whenever I think about it, I just good thoughts. And I'm like, that was a really good movie, and I hope to watch it again.
For my number 2 is Oppenheimer, and I need to rewatch almost instantly. The movie's a 10, in my opinion. But my theater experience was so ass. I'm a Christopher Nolan dick rider. Everyone knows it.
I think if I didn't watch it in that IMAX 70mm theater, I would have hated it. My number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What the fuck? What the hell? How did they do this, guys?
Okay.
Just unbelievable. How did they do this? How the fuck did they do this? Gotta love it.
Animators. My number 2 spot is a film made by aliens. It is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Dog, what else is there to say about it?
Speaks for itself, I feel like.
Yeah.
Number 2, I also have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The first one will always be better, in my opinion. But the second one, to be at the same standard, is crazy how they did that.
At my number 1, I have Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah!
This was actually the only movie in 2023 that I watched twice, which was like the first time ever that it was that low. It's better than the first one. If they do good on the third one, it'll be top 3 trilogy of all time. My complaint is this big.
number one is Killers of the Flower Moon. What do I have it, like top 3 Scorsese or something? I don't know. This film is actually horrifying. It's the best horror movie of the year. De Niro. Whoa.
Okay, I want to say one thing. I'm sad that he took a break from the War with Grandpa and Dirty Grandpa movies. I think he works much better there, and I think that coming back to do this was really fucked up of him to his real fans.
There's a dude in this who would be an incredible David Byrne.
My number 1, to nobody's surprise, is Past Lives.
Yawn.
It takes such a unique spin on the romance genre. It hit me so profoundly. It was fucked up. There's that one line outside of a taxi, right at the end of the movie. Dude, absolutely crushing. It's such a gentle movie. None of the cuts feel harsh. It just exists. I haven't really heard many people talk about the music, but just within the first 5 minutes, I was getting teary-eyed just from the visuals mixed with the music. I found it to be one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
Best movie of 2023. Braden's favorite movie. It's Barbie!
And I'm back like a Barbie. I still want to party.
Oh, fuck you.
I think everything about it is incredible. Everything works so well, and I can watch it endlessly. The soundtrack slaps, the acting is crazy, it looks so good, and it has such an amazing story with a great message that hits. To end the Barbenheimer debate and cap this year off, when I went to Oppenheimer, the guy right next to me, to my direct right, fell asleep. When I went to Barbie, the person next to me cried. That just shows you right there who wins.
I really wish you would have watched more movies. I really wish I could have liked Barbie more.
I wish I could have hated Oppenheimer more.
I wish Oppenheimer ended with an Ice Spice song.
I
one by
love radio music. I love Walmart radio music. I love
the night away.
Oh
You're
my
a
God,
music jerk.
Dude, it's the only reason you like Barbie is because you're the biggest movie jerker we know.
Why do I get this title? I literally haven't.
Barbie. I walked into the theater after you and I saw the back of that seat, bro.
If you jerked off at Barbie, that's fucking crazy.
Well, Ryan Gosling was pretty hot in that.
Yeah, so there's a couple TV shows we're going to talk about. I have Scott Pilgrim Takes Off at 6th on my list. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is one of my favorite movies. I love it.
Nerd.
It did the unexpected and went a whole different route than just adapting the movie into an animated show. I will say that it's actually my favorite animation all year. It's directly out of the book. The style of it is phenomenal. The story is entertaining. I think it did what it did very well.
I like it more than the movie.
Definitely
I do too.
fair.
We had The Bear, season 2.
Unbelievable.
I need to watch that now.
It's presenting it in a pretty interesting format. You don't see prestige television making too many risks with how it portrays itself. It's just nice that it's half an hour, but when it needs to be longer, it is. Well done, well paced. And
The Christmas episode in season 2 is one of my favorite episodes of television ever.
You don't really notice it, but it is saying, look at me. Look at what I can do. It is the best TV series airing right now, especially because Succession just ended. I'd shout out that season 2. It's incredible. Succession goes crazy. The other great thing in TV was Fiona and Kate. They keep finding ways to add more stuff to this universe without tarnishing the endpoints that they've created.
I don't know how they do it. It's insane. We're in a period where multiverses are so prevalent in media. The fact that Adventure Time is now doing that, and it's doing it masterfully. Literal wizards are working on that show. That is some of my favorite Adventure Time that is ever released.
Great music too. They keep going crazier and crazier every year.
The love of my life was in Love and Death. And it was all right. Nothing to write home about other than she's an amazing woman. And I'm still waiting on that text back. No, it's my number 9. Is Beef, which was surprisingly good. There's good characters. Every episode is something to digest. It keeps you engaged and adds something new to the dynamic, and it's just a solid show.
I will say that the 3 episodes that I watched were fantastic. Oh, shout out to The Last of Us.
I played the games while I was watching the show, and the game is fantastic. This is why video game adaptations are going up, because of this show. It was a really good show. The game's way better, but the show's good.
Well, that's it, guys.
Maybe the Iron Claw. I might go watch it right now.
I don't know if it's actually up for rent yet. If it is, I bet you it's $20 for rent.
You have good teeth,
I
Jared.
actually...
It's because when I do this.
When I go there in a couple of weeks, you better run for me. I might pull those teeth. Might get those chompers.
Our letterboxes are in the description.
Everyone unsub now.
Kiss that subscribe button.
Smash that like button.
You're annoying and lame.
You're actually fat. I fucking hate this.
I'm so,
This is like a nightmare.
I'm so uncomfortable.
We'll come get comfortable eating